Welcome to a holistic approach to education. My name is Dorothea Williams, and I will be your host today. Our goal is to inform, inspire, engage, and empower. Today's segment will be a Math Minute with Ma D. Ma D is an educator who has been a classroom teacher, a math coach, and a director of math and science for San Bernardino County in California. It is our pleasure to have her on today's segment. So Ma D, what are you going to share with us today?
Well, today I'd like to help parents to play a few games and have a little bit of fun with mathematics with their students or with their kids. Look at a way to help kids understand what numbers are, how they're used, and then to just be a little bit more flexible and fluid in their thinking about how the numbers we encounter help us to describe and define our world, things around us. So today is a game, and I want to put the big G in game, and that is to have a little bit of fun, to move away from some of the drill and practice that kids are having to do, and just have a little bit of fun with numbers and helping kids understand what numbers are. First of all, if you get a deck of cards, just go to your Dollar Tree, dollar store, 99 cents only. Get a deck of cards, or if you have old cards laying around the house that don't have all the deck to them, as long as you have enough to make some of them a number set from 1 to 10 or 8 to 10, you're good for this game. So you're going to take a deck of cards, and you're going to remove all of the face cards from the deck. And you can I have laid out here a group of numbers from 1 to 10. And one of the things you can have your little ones to do, I say starting as early as 4, to have them arrange the numbers in order from least to greatest, starting with the eights being the 1, and they'll go from 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. If they're little, you take out more of the cards. So you don't have all the way up to 10. Say that they're a 3 or 4-year-old, you might only start with 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really good for little kids who like to be able to count. They know what the counting means, and then they can even show you with their fingers how many is 1, how many is 2. So you really see if they have the real concept of cardinality, meaning what does a number mean. Ordinality is just the order of the numbers, knowing which one is more, and cardinality is knowing what numbers or symbols are used for. So this game is a race. You say, okay, Pookie, you're gonna go first. I'm going to take a stopwatch. I'm just going to count to see how long it takes you to line up the numbers from 1 to 10 in order from least to greatest. And you can say, ready, go. Or you can just put down some of the cards and ask them which ones are missing. So we're really helping them to understand what numbers are, where they come in the sequence, and how they're used. So that's one way that we could play the game. Another more advanced version is helping the kids to be able to see who has more. This is a big concept with really understanding the value of numbers. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to trick my sister out of her money because she didn't understand the value that a dime was more than a nickel. So one of my uncles gave us some money for dancing, and she got a dime and I got 2 nickels, and she wanted my big money. So I gave her one of my big monies for her dime. I know that probably wasn't the nicest thing to do, but hey, what you don't know. That's why we want to make sure our kids understand the value of numbers. So you get a standard deck of cards, taking out all the face cards, and then you're going to divide them equally among the players. Each person turns over 1 card to see whose card is greatest. So here I'm showing a 7 and a ace, which is 1. So the person with the 7 would win. They take both of the cards, and then you play the next round, the next battle. You continue like this until the time that you're given to play is over and the person who has the most wins, or until one person has taken all the cards. Now, if you got some of them kids, that need to be occupied for a while, you let them play until the game is over. It takes a little while for the whole deck to be taken from one person to the next. So that's one version.
Okay, I have a question. Could you play with 2 decks of cards? Would that be an advantage to one, have the game go a little longer? Or if you had
them baby kids need it to go a little longer, just give them more cards.
Or if you have more players.
If you have more players, absolutely. If you have more players, you can put more than 1 deck, because the color on the back of the card doesn't matter. It's the value, the digits on the front. So you can mix decks. You don't have to have a complete deck of 52 standard decks of cards. You can mix 2 or 3 decks together. Just take out the face cards and the jokers. Unless once the kids get older, you can assign a value to the jokers that makes it a little bit more competitive.
Okay.
Now, to continue the competitive part with the older kids, I say up to 4, 5, 6 on up, you can say, let's play this as an addition game where you take 2 cards, turn over 2 at a time, and you add them up, and whoever has the greater value wins the game. That's the next version of this game. So I put down a 1 and a 5, you put down a 2 and a 7, we add them up and see who wins. If we get the same value, that's called a battle or a war, and then we have to do it again until somebody has a greater value. But it really helps the kids to start doing a lot of mental math. You can give them pencil paper if you want to, but I think it's better to have them to start to be able to break the numbers apart, making 5s and 10s to be able to add them in their head. That's what the value of this game is helping them with that mental math and not just the standard algorithms that they use in school.
Okay. Could you tell me what algorithm means? Because I haven't heard that term always used.
Well, algorithm is like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. It's a way, a process of doing it. Um, they'll teach you what they call, quote, standard algorithms in school, but there are lots of different ways. It's just a different way or process for getting the answer to a standard math problem.
Okay, thank you. Do we have another game that you're going to share with us today?
Well, yeah, there's this next version of this very same game, and that is to use the cards to practice multiplication. But before we practice multiplication, I like to have the kids understand what multiplication means, and that is we show them how they arrange the cards in a group of 3 by 6 so that they understand that 3 times 6 is 3 groups of 6, and that's that the repeated addition is where you get your multiplication, quote, facts from. It's real helpful for the kids to understand what multiplication means, how numbers are growing in a pattern. And then we play this very same game. They turn over 2 cards and they multiply. And so the person with the highest product, that's the answer to a multiplication problem, wins. So if I had a 3 and a 5 and you had a 2 and a 9, I'd have 15 and you have 18, so you'd win and take all the cards. Kids love this version as well. It helps them get good at those, quote, multiplication facts, because you want them you might give them a times table chart to start if they're younger and they haven't really mastered the multiplication. But the idea here is to get them to the point where they can go really fast and not have to use a chart to be able to just know their multiplication tables.
So students who are struggling with some of their multiplication facts, I might want to take out the 2s and the 5s out of the deck and the ace, correct? And let them just practice with the numbers that they are struggling with?
Absolutely. And well, you might want to just leave them in there because they will also be used with the other numbers. So like if you had a 5 and a 7, you're still going to use the 35. And they don't come up that often. So it's still good to leave them in there.
Okay.
It's okay to leave them in there unless you really, really, really wanted to focus only on the hard ones. Take out the 1s, 2s, and the 5s, and even maybe the 10s.
Okay. Thank you.
All righty.
Well, I want to thank you, Madi, for giving us some insight on how we can help kids understand what numbers mean. I didn't realize the importance of knowing what the value of numbers are, so that young children have to have that solidly in their thinking before they can move on to the next pieces of math. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's wonderful when I see parents showing me that their kids can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it's just a song. It's not a real understanding until they can say, show me 1 with your finger. Go get me 5 apples. They understand which is more, 2 or 7, so that they start to really understand what numbers really mean. So we want to push at the meaning and the thinking behind what numbers are.
Again, thank you. A holistic approach to education is brought to you by A to Z educational consultants, transformational leaders bridging the gap between educators and scholars K-12. Thank you for listening. Our next segment will be on, Madi, we know we want to have you again. What will you be doing the next time on our next segment?
Next time, I think I'll play a few flashcard games. A lot of parents use flashcards, but I think we can make a game of it, and it will be a real good, fun way to get the kids to engage and to stay with us as we're practicing some of our math skills.
We look forward to you joining us again. Please feel free to contact me at dwilliams@a2z-consultants.com if you have any questions about today's segment or you would like more information on our organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Go forth.